Welcome everybody to another episode of the Play Paintball podcast. I'm your host, Jay Bird, and with me I have my good friend and sports coach, Aaron Brown. So today what I wanted to talk about a little bit, and it's a question that I get a lot, is, like what kinds of paintball are there, right? How many different types of paintball are there? So I think we briefly touched on this a little bit, where when you tell somebody, hey, I play paintball, pretty much the first concept or the first imagination of what paintball is you're playing army guns, you're out in the woods, you have tactical style machine guns that shoot paintballs, and you're wearing camouflage, and it's which is part of the game, and that's just literally like one aspect of it. You played in the woods.
In the woods.
That was your first time playing, or no?
Yeah, this was when I was young, like 10.
Okay, you played when you were 10.
Friends from my childhood.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like 10, 11.
This was
first time.
Who was your friends? Do you remember?
My friend Corey, my boy Britt. This was on his stepfather's, like, I think his family's like ranch or something.
Okay, some property, right?
Yeah, some property.
You went out there.
And this was my first time, and like they had cleats, like they had the whole gear, like the arm bands, the elbow stuff, and I'm fresh from the city, like I'm not used to this, so that was my first experience. So of course I was out of my league, but yeah.
But that was like in the woods,
yeah.
Right? So y'all kind of went, dressed up and ran around, and it was kind
no
of
boundaries.
No boundaries.
Yeah,
was there an objective to the game, or it was just find each other and shoot
find each other, shoot each other?
Okay.
And me, I hit.
Yeah.
Course. I want to get
Sure.
hit. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, and so that's what a lot of people call woods ball, right? And woods ball and rec ball kind of go hand in hand, right? A lot of times if you're playing woods ball, you're playing rec ball, which is another aspect of it, right? Recreational paintball, where you're doing it
Just for fun.
For fun. You're going out, you're kicking it with your friends, you go out to your local paintball field. If you have your own equipment, you bring it out. If you don't, usually you'll rent a basic entry-level marker with CO2 or compressed air. Nowadays, the fields have better equipment, right? Like more and more fields are upgrading their rental equipment, focusing really on the customer experience, right? Making sure that the customer has a good experience, right? But ultimately, it's an entry-level gun, right? You're shooting, pop, pop, pop. You're running in the woods, nothing crazy, right? I think some fields where you can actually go and upgrade and get a higher end marker, and you pay a little bit for the upgrade fee, and now you're shooting a lot faster.
The last one I went to with my older brother, this was off 45, I believe. I forget the name, but their guns was boo-boo.
Yeah.
Every time I released a trigger, balls were just.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have your own gun there, it was like not even a game.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Well, and I think that's something that we could definitely get into, but having the right equipment definitely helps with paintball and the overall experience,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you can't, there is no better feeling in paintball than coming out and shooting their shot, and you see it
connect.
Bah, splat, you got them, right? Like that's
what you look for.
That's what you look for, and when you see that, dude, that's like the best, right? And that's the point of the game, right? Ultimately, is to hit somebody with another paintball. So having the right equipment for your experience is definitely important, and that's something that definitely matters, right? So going back to what we were talking though, is you have woods ball. Or rec ball, recreational paintball. Leisure ball.
Spectator ball.
No. Spectator ball?
No.
Would you call it spectator ball?
I mean, this is
I
the
think
first
spectator
time
ball,
when
spectator
I played,
ball.
and it was in this type of environment, in the woods, random, with some guns.
But you don't have spectators. So I would say spectator ball is like the next level, which is your speed ball, right? Speed ball it's more structured, right? You have a field that is rectangular in nature, right?
Boundaries.
I think you have boundaries, you have out of bounds, you have a buzzer on both ends of the field, and you have a mirrored layout. So if I have it on my side, it's mirrored on the opposing team's side. So we have
Like
the
team.
same. Yeah, it's the same on both sides, right? I want to say every now and then they do something weird where, like the Doritos are corner to corner.
Just, like,
instead of like
Right on
all
top.
the Doritos on one side and all the snake on one side. Every now and then they do that. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, it's still even. But
ultimately
yeah.
it's even, right? It's mirrored to some effect, right? And there's structure to the game, right? It's a 15-minute clock. Now here we are talking. This is speedball at a professional level, right? You have 15 minutes on the clock, and the objective is to get a point by eliminating the other team touching their buzzer, right? So you have to actually physically touch their point, their buzzer on their base or their start gate to get the point. And if you get the point, then you switch sides, you keep going.
You
right?
play for what?
You play for 15 minutes total.
So not points.
Yeah.
Time. And you see who has the most points.
Yeah, at the end of the 15 minutes, you see who has the most time, or you see who has, or you can mercy rule, right? So if you beat somebody by 5-0,
it's game.
You game. It's game over.
Okay. Like 21 on Madden.
Yeah.
21 no scope. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
You score 3 times without them scoring once. That's game.
On the video game?
Yeah.
Football game?
Yeah.
Okay. Really? I didn't know that. I would play Madden, dude. I never played Madden in my life. The closest I played FIFA. But that's soccer.
But even on FIFA, 3-0.
Oh, really?
That's game.
It's game.
That's game.
In like online matches, right?
No.
Or even just
on like
1v1?
Yeah, like me versus you, like right here, right now. Online, we go the whole game. There's no quitting. You quit, that's weak.
Oh, so but this is like a thing. It's not.
This is like-
is it built into the game?
No, this is like an understood rule. Like
Okay, so it's
if
like
if I
me
got
and
you
you
up by 21-0,
in football.
that's game. We can start over. Because if we keep playing, I've already got out 21 points and you
Okay.
haven't got one. If we keep going at the rate, it's going to get worse. So we should start over. That's game. I can call game because
alright.
usually I can call game, right?
You're just like, you know what?
yeah. I'm like, bro, get another team.
Go
I'm done.
practice a little bit,
Yeah,
come back and see
exactly.
me again.
Don't
Okay.
practice. I'm done playing with you.
You wasted my time. I didn't know that was a thing though.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that was a thing in like.
Bro, I thought everybody knew that.
But then again, I don't really play sports games. Like growing up, we played
I played
Need for
Madden.
Speed,
Yeah, but I played
and I played like Halo, Call of Duty. Like
I played the
shooting
same game,
games.
bro. But I did play.
But
But
I
I played college football too.
Yeah.
So-
Well, you also played. Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't start playing FIFA until like after I had my son. Like, because my oldest son likes to play soccer and he plays FIFA on the thing. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's competitive paintball, right? So we have competitive paintball, you have recreational paintball, and then so you have woods ball and then speedball. And then there's another
I played
one.
speedball.
You played speedball one time, a couple of times, right?
A couple times.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on speedball?
Well, it's speed, and more importantly, it's like mental speed.
Yeah.
Knowing how to like move and maneuver without getting hit, because the balls are flying everywhere
Yeah.
in every way, right? And you don't know where the players are because you can't really like sit there and like get a gauge and go, okay. I mean, you get a snapshot, quick view of like where the players fan out, you know, from the go, right?
Right,
To
from the
bunkers.
breakout.
Yeah, from the breakout.
Yeah.
But you don't got time to be looking at them, right? You want to set yourself up. But myself being amateur,
Brand new.
like I knew
Because you went from woods ball to speedball
Yeah.
that one time, right? Because you
Yeah.
played a long time ago when you were a kid, and then you
I played again, yeah.
again with your brother.
Yeah, my brother, yeah.
And then I
Which
took
is like
you
an all
out.
day event.
Yeah.
Or not all day, but like we went through like different scenarios,
Right.
different like games or whatever
Yeah.
scenarios. Speedball with you, right? Which if you don't have the skills, that's it. You can hang it up. Because like they know how to shoot, or y'all not me, but y'all know how to shoot.
Yeah.
Y'all can anticipate players making mistakes because y'all wouldn't make mistakes. Me, I'm probably going to make that mistake because I'm out of my element.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's how my experience was. Just flat out like, all right, this is too fast.
Not to mention, I think your gun fell apart.
Bro, no, when I came out the break, bro, I slipped and like fell and all my balls flew out my cup, bro. So yeah, that too, bro. Like, that's what you don't do.
Yeah, this is how you don't play speedball. But
so
yeah,
yeah, man, but yeah.
well, that's good, dude. No, so there's, you kind of touched on it a second ago with scenario, right? So when you went out to survival games in Texas, you did scenario paintball.
Yeah.
And there's like
Capture the flag.
like capture the flag and like attack and defend, where you have a castle and you have to get to the castle and kill, eliminate everybody in the castle.
And they can't leave.
They can't leave. Yeah. So so then you have another aspect of paintball, which is a scenario style paintball, right? It can be, woods ball is woods ball, right? Like it's in the woods.
Free
like
play.
You're playing, it's kind of like use the trees, hide in the bushes,
Wait,
move around.
Yeah.
Oh, you see somebody, you gotta wait. You're just trying to shoot through bushes, and like the paintballs are hitting the bushes and breaking. And
you're just having fun.
yeah, it's fun, right? And then you go a next step up, and where you go like scenario paintball, right? Where it could be a combination of mix of woods, but then there's also structures, right? Like castles, and people will put buses and cars and jeeps and like build little huts and all sorts of stuff.
The one we went to, I remember like trying to shoot. Some guys were in this little like building where like the window was like this big.
Yeah.
Right? And they were shooting us
Through the window.
and we're trying to shoot them through the window.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting, and I'm like, well, first I know that's what I'm saying. My gun is boo boo. Like,
Yeah.
I know that, right? But I can't play with that on my mind. But I got to play, right? So I'm shooting, but like my balls are not even coming close to hitting them. And I'm just like, but their balls are like, phew, 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 phew. And I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
But did you like try to flank them or like what?
I got out.
You got out.
Yeah, I got
Like you
out.
got shot out, or you just?
It was like guys everywhere.
Yeah.
Like so that's what I mean. Like you gotta have the gun, you gotta have the skills, you gotta know the environment, you gotta have the experience to really be able to make an impact.
I don't know though, dude, because I feel like, it may be, a lot
I'll
of
say
times
for me.
Yeah, a lot of times because ultimately, right, like we want people to play paintball, or at least I want people to play paintball, and you get that question like, well, where do I start? Like, where do I even begin to play, right? And that's the $1 million question, right? Because normally you're just going to go out to, I think woods ball is really the best place to play, right? You go out to a speedball course, your first game, you're going to get destroyed. And then you're going to take the fun out, right?
You say, how do you start off playing?
Yeah, like where would you,
where would you try to get
if I was like,
experience?
hey, you know what, I really want to try paintball. And you could be like, okay, well, where do I even start? Like, where do I go first? What's the first kind of paintball that I play, right? You show up here to Splat, you're going to play a mixture of basically like a slow version of speedball, right? It's competitive paintball, right? It's structured like you have the field, it's rectangular, there's a base on both sides, you have the bunkers in the middle, all in the middle, it's mirrored, all that good stuff, right? So the advantage for here is that you're using low impact paintballs, and the guns are slow, right? But they're also accurate, so you're gonna hit somebody. You're gonna hit somebody eventually.
Your guns are nice.
The-
I've been other places. I'm not gonna say nothing, but just saying I noticed that. So kudos to you.
Yeah, well, again, I think what we really wanted to focus on was the customer experience.
Yeah.
We want you to hit somebody. Well, we want you to be able to shoot somebody. We don't just care about you coming out and shooting all your paintballs. Like, yeah, I mean, of course, you're going to shoot your ammo, but ultimately, you want to hit somebody when you come out and there's somebody standing like wide open on the side, and you're sitting there, boom, 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 shooting like 4 or 5 times, and they're like, and then they look over at you and they're like, oh, and then they tuck in. That's frustrating, dude. And that's going to give you a bad like you're already going down the
Tasting,
bad taste going towards
yeah.
paintball, right? So instead, you spend a little bit, you get a nice, rental equipment, and now the customer gets the opportunity to go
Really
get
enjoy
that
it.
satisfaction of being able to, and maybe it's a little maliciousness too, because you'll shoot somebody, and you get
But it's
that.
fun. But that's what you
Yeah.
that's what you look for.
But so I guess that's what it goes back to. But I think a lot of times woods ball, for the people that start to play competitively, people that play competitively kind of look down on woods ball. But in my opinion, I feel like there's a place for both, right? So I have the youth team. This 2 weekends ago, we went out to a local field, the whole youth team. We all went out and we went to a thing called Sunday Fun Day, right? And it's all rec ball, right? They have different scenarios. Like one is called Silverado, and they have a building and a jail and a hotel, and the object of the game is to get to the hotel and grab the flag and take it to the opposing team's base, right? So obviously that's going to be very difficult when you have 50, 60, 80, 100 people playing. That's 50 on 50. There's paintballs flying everywhere. You're taking little baby bites, moving up. But it's recreational, right? It's more fun. And I did that with the kids specifically because I think ultimately, even though we play competitive paintball and we're trying to win, like we have to remember that we're doing what we do for the fun of the enjoyment of it, right? Yeah. And we should enjoy it. Yeah, and you should enjoy the competitive side of it. You should definitely work, and you should enjoy the job of.
You want the reward.
You want the reward, right? But then it's okay to take that step back and like go back to like the roots of paintball. The roots of paintball is woods ball, 100%, hands down.
Yeah.
Like there's no two ways about it. I mean, so the original paintball gun wasn't even a paintball. Like the intention was not, hey, we're gonna shoot each other. Like it was used for marking purposes. They would use it to
paintball.
The original paintball gun. Yeah. They used it for marking trees for deforestation for forest management.
Like the gun.
It was a pistol, handheld pistol, right? They'd shoot it. They would also use them to shoot cows and stuff like that, right? But what happened was, I can only assume there was four mountain men. I haven't checked this 100%, but I'm pretty sure that this is how it went down. I did read an article on like the origination of paintball, right?
The origination.
But yeah, but I could just imagine how this went down, right? Like 4 forest workers, or everybody's out there working, and they all got their marker pistols, and one of them, is like messing around, and pow, shoots the other one in the leg, right? And they're like, oh, and it hurt, right? But then they didn't die, right? So now they start playing woods. But that's the original, right? You can only imagine, right? Like, just imagine you, me, and the boys, we're just all hanging out, and we got these guns, and we're like, bam! Somebody's about to get shot in the leg, right? Just to test it out, right? It's always the one that's not expecting.
So from there,
it kept going, right? And they started playing in the woods, and like one of the original games that was ever played was in '83. That was when they competed, right? They formed 2 teams, and there was a series of flags that you had to capture, and there was like that was the first original, like the first paintball.
1983.
1983. So what we were talking about the other day, like our sport is relatively new, right?
Like 80s new, or like
83, right?
Okay.
83 we started, and now we're I don't even know, 40 years later, right? 40 years later, we're in the 40th anniversary year of paintball, right? So 40 years, as opposed to football or baseball or any of these other sports that have been around for much longer, centuries, right? Starting off with the beginning of that Aztecs playing, the kick the ball through the hoop thing, right? So that's ultimately where we're at. But so you have these different aspects of what paintball is, right? So it started off in the woods, eventually evolved into into more structured games, right? There's a thing called hyperball. So have you ever seen those corrugated like plastic big pipes that they use for like sewer and water storm drains and all that stuff?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You can imagine what they look like,
Yeah.
right? Well, they have all different sizes, right? Like big 4 foot, 6 foot round ones. They've got, little 10-inch diameter ones. And what they did was they took those and built bunkers using those. And that's what we call hyperball, right? Why hyperball? I don't know. I really don't know.
Speedball, hyperball?
No, hyperball. Speedball's still at the top. They do competitions now, like the ICCPL, the Iron City Classic Paintball League. It's a hyperball tournament. So hyperball was before speedball, right? Speedball came later with what we have with the air bunkers, right? That's what qualifies speedball, is using air bunkers, right? Air, different shapes, obstacles. You have the Doritos, you've got the cans, the Aztecs, all those different shapes, right? Right?
That makes sense.
That's speedball. Right. So if you have airball, yes, speedball, airball, speedball, it could be used interchangeably. They're one and the same, right? And then before that, you have hyperball, right? Hyperball is when you use those big corrugated plastic tubes.
Yeah, but when you say you use it for bunkers, like how?
You would cut them up, like you would cut sections of them and stack them up and make patterns out of them. Like I'll show you. There's hyperball. You can Google it, and it's like that's what it is, hyperball, right?
I wonder why they call it hyperball.
I don't know why they call it hyperball, but it's loud, bro. Like when you're playing and those paintballs are hitting the hyperball pipes, the bunkers. It's like it's loud because it's basically two drums, right? Yeah, so it's like you're hitting them, and there's all sorts of different noises, and it's paint everywhere.
They have that here in Houston?
Yeah. There's so I know for sure there's one place that has it up north. Yeah. Pretty much every place
Never heard of
has a hyperball field. We don't have a hyperball field because we just don't have the room for it, right? We're in the middle of the city, so it's like a little bit more difficult for us to have that. So we're focusing more on airball or speedball, right? The competitive side of it.
Yeah.
And then we use the same bunkers that we use for airball for our jelly ball games, right? So jelly ball, super low.
And jelly ball would be like speedball, but for children.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, for sure. So speedball for children. I call it bumper cars with guns, right? Because imagine when you're playing bumper cars, right? Like you're just like,
that's how
boom, you just run into whoever you see, right? Yeah. So basically, that's what jelly ball is. It's like run around. There's methods, right? Like we have teams and all that, but it's really just like run around and shoot whoever you see.
Run and shoot.
Just run and shoot.
That's what it is.
And it's a lot of fun. But so there's jelly ball, right? But yeah, we have woods ball. You have hyperball. You have rec ball, which is your recreational paintball, where they do the castles and all that stuff, and then you have the speedball, right? Now, to take it one step further, they also have what we call scenario games, right? So recreational paintball or rec ball is, for all intents and purposes, just a bunch of little mini scenario games, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
You're
gonna
like,
say.
hey, there's protect the president, and one of the players is the president, or they'll have a suitcase, and you have to take it and like deliver the suitcase to the opposing team's base. That type of stuff, right? And that's rec ball. And if you go out to a paintball field, you're out there for the whole day. Depending on the place, you're going to play a bunch of those types of paintballs, right? Now, scenario games is like taking rec ball and upgrading it, right? So scenario ball, you're playing for, like, you can go there. It could be an overnight event.
But
Where you show up and they do like they do a really famous one that I had the opportunity to go to is up in Pennsylvania, and it's at Skirmish. It's at Skirmish Paintball, and it's called the D-Day event, right? And they have the Axis versus the Allies, right? So you have basically they're reenacting D-Day, right? And what they did was they built these U-boats. Like they're like plywood U-boats with the operating little door. And you've seen Saving Private Ryan, right? So that situation, right? So to start the scenario, so basically you show up like 2 days before or a day before, right? You set up all your stuff, you get all your teams, you kind of walk around, you play some paintball, it's all fun and games. Everybody's kind of getting situated, and you camp out overnight. Like you camp. People bring tents, they got music. Think of it as, have you ever been to Renfest? You never been to the Renaissance Festival? Me neither.
Bro, you trying to blame me? No, you ain't been.
No. I've been to the Renaissance Festival. I haven't been to the Renaissance Festival. So the Renaissance Festival here in Texas, they I'm sure they're everywhere else, right? But you camp out. You can go and you can camp, and then you can live like in the medieval times, and I'm sure there's all sorts of debauchery that goes on. But they have the similar situation with these events, right? These scenario events. So you show up the night before, the day before, you set up your camp, your tent, you have, you're camping, but with paintball, right? And then the next day, they start the games, right? And they start a scenario game. This place is huge, bro. Like,
this is in
Pennsylvania? It's in Pennsylvania, right? And I didn't have the opportunity to play because I was working the event. I had gone to help a buddy that does, he was a vendor for the event, so I went to help him. Actually, one of our sponsors, Gangsta Paintball, I went to help him at the event. And we drove all the way up there and whatever. And it was so cool, dude. So the U-boats, right? And they start by blowing this like huge air horn. And then, just like D-Day, dude, only with not real bullets, like the doors on these wooden U-boats drop, and there's people in there, right? That's how you enter the field, right? Okay. So they have the U-boats, and then you have to go in, and then you go in, right? And then on the other side, like of this huge field, you have whoever was selected to be on the Axis team, right? All the Germans and the Chinese, all that stuff, right? And they drop and paintballs, dude.
So opposite sides,
yeah.
Let out the U-boat type.
So no. You have the Allies. They're in the U-boats.
Okay.
The U-boat lids drop, right? The doors open.
I got you.
And you got to run out. And there's like stuff. It's like D-Day, right? There's
and
like
they're
stuff
already there.
And they're already posted up on the other side of this hill, waiting. And as soon as that thing drops and the buzzer goes off, they start running out. The people on the other side of the hill, they're shooting to try and eliminate all these people, right? And dude, it was so cool. Just the second that game started, it was like paintballs. You could see them colliding in air, like breaking, and then like people were running and diving and like hiding. There was smoke bombs.
So how many players is this?
Oh, like I don't even know, dude. But it was a lot of players.
Because I've only played with like 10 guys,
No.
10 versus 10, right?
This was like
15 versus 15.
I would say, I'm horrible at counting like, oh, that's about 100 people. It was past 100 people. Like,
playing in this game,
right? You have to understand, this was a huge area, and there was cars. Like the camping area.
How often does this happen?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. I didn't get to play, right? Because again, I was working. But I can imagine, I had pictures of all these different people wearing like costumes, and they had people with.
So coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this is scenario paintball, right? This is where you're playing a character. That's the best way to put it. You're playing a character in a movie.
Why you say character?
Because I don't think anybody was walking around normal life like wearing a chicken suit. You know what I mean? Like you're playing a character because there's a storyline to it, right? So think of it as like you're playing real life Call of Duty, right?
Okay. Oh, I got you.
Okay.
So people come, stay, camp, and then wake up and play in the game, but they're draped like in their gear.
Yeah, their gear. Yeah, they're some of them are like all military.
Like Call of Duty.
Like some of them are walking around carrying like rubber knives and executing people with like a rubber knife. Like they'll like sneak up on somebody. Oh, you're out. It's like. Have you ever seen?
Bro, that's great.
It's really cool. Have you ever seen? I think they call it LARPing. Have you heard of LARPing? Or it's basically like Renaissance Festival, dude, but with paintball.
No,
it's
no Renaissance for me, bro.
Yeah, it's like Or have you ever seen like people when they go to medieval times and they go to sit down and eat dinner and they like watch the show?
What movies I've seen it.
Okay. It's that same thing, right? So these people, like, they put on a show, right? You're putting on a show, and you're basically kind of just playing a scenario.
You're buying into it.
You're buying into it, and then there's also people that have missions. So, like, aside from the overall game going on, there's smaller groups or like battalions or whatever you want to call it, and they have individual missions. Like, hey, you need to make your way over to Titman Castle and capture the castle, right? Or you need to recover this piece of intel, right? There's commanders. When I tell you like the scenario game is crazy, it's crazy, dude. Not crazy like in bad, but like.
But the way it's set up,
it's involved. Like there's a lot of detail that goes into it,
So are you still out once you hit once?
They have medics. They have like medics and
because that's the only thing I'm thinking about as you explained like the detail of all these games and like it's all that stuff.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is, well, damn, if I get hit once, I can't enjoy none of that. No.
Well, that's like speedball, right? Like that's more of like your tournament side of things. If you get shot like in the gun or in the toe, whatever.
So scenario. You're not out after one hit.
It depends on the rules, right? I'm pretty sure they could say like, arm hits don't count, or you just have to like put your arm behind your back, or
maybe on the chest.
But if you get shot in the chest or head, like it's a kill shot, and you're out, and then you have to go out and then go to. So the way that they had it set up, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, they had insertion points. So like you could only enter the game through the insertion point. So if you got eliminated, you have to go out and then make your way to the insertion point and then get back in the game, right? And I think you get the opportunity to go like refill your air tanks and like your ammo and whatnot that goes with it.
So it's more about enjoying the experience of what they put on for the customers, right?
Yeah.
Because they came to camp out, they brought their gear. They don't want a one-shot elimination.
Right.
Like, dang,
I mean, you're there all day.
All day.
All weekend. Like, it's Friday, Saturday. Like, Friday they show up, Saturday, and then Sunday they...
So what ages are we talking?
All ages. All ages, dude.
Like 50?
There's 50? Kids.
I
kids,
children, yeah.
all the way to grown, like, I don't want to say grown men because we're all grown men, but like adult, like more
like businessmen,
yeah. Like, hey, I can't do my stock trading this weekend because I'm going to be at the D-Day event. Yeah. And they go. There's a guy that I got to meet, and I don't know too much about him, but I know that he's really big into the scenario game. His name is Wolf. He goes by Wolf, right? He's got an Instagram. He's got a pretty good following, and he trains for these things, right? But he trains like you would train for the military, right? His weapon, his paintball marker, is a military style. Like it looks like an AR machine gun, like an AR-15, like an assault rifle, right?
What does it shoot like?
Similar, like obviously not. It's not going to shoot like the Titman, and it's not going to shoot crazy fast. So it just depends. Again, like when we're talking about like equipment and how to play, that's like a whole nother rabbit hole that you can go into. because nowadays you have the first strike rounds, right? That's like a bullet, and that it shoots and it's got fins and it comes out and it's a lot more accurate. It hurts a lot more, but it's it's more accurate. It's a lot more expensive to shoot. You put it into a magazine like you would put into an assault rifle, and you go out and you start shooting, right? There's a guy that I follow on Instagram. I like watching him because he's really good. But he's a sniper. His name is like Hedgehog or something like that.
So like,
He's a paintball sniper.
Bro, get out of here.
For real, dude. And you'll be watching because he films like he has his rifle setup is set up where you can see the scope. Like you can actually, he's recording like what he's seeing through the scope. And I'll sit there and watch it sometimes, and there'll be guys walking down, and all of a sudden he's just like, and you can see the paintball. And like when you play video games, it marks a little X when you hit. Like he's gone back and like recreated, done some video editing, and like he'll put the little marker when it hits, and it's really cool. But he's cold-blooded, dude. He's a paintball sniper. But I'm assuming he uses like those first strike rounds, right? Because a round ball shot out of a paintball gun is equivalent to like a musket, right? Like back in the day, they had muskets where they would shoot these round balls, and that's why they had them all lined up, because you would just and hit who you can, right? And then just keep going. And so that's where it all kind of goes, right? You have those different things, and again, the equipment, you can go way down a rabbit hole, but it's more towards you're not going to go play speedball with the.
That's what I was
saying.
Why? Okay, yeah.
So you could play rec ball with a speedball gun.
And he's playing
scenario paintball.
Scenario,
yeah,
theatrical, stuff.
Yeah, and he's playing a character, right? Like it's like, and again, you just see people.
Cool.
I saw one guy walking around. He had a Gatling gun.
Oh, he's really in character.
A paintball Gatling gun, dude. And it was cool because it had like a big drum on it that he had like created.
Oh, you say was it on his backpack?
I don't remember. I have a picture of it. I'll throw the picture up in there. But basically, it was he had this like it was a machine gun, dude, like Terminator, dude, and or Rambo, right? And but it's all part of the characters.
That's
right?
cool.
Like it's all, and so that's a whole different aspect as opposed to if you're playing tournament level paintball, right? Tournament level speedball. That's a whole nother ball game. And for that,
that's and you keep talking about it. I'm just imagining like the experience, because like for businessmen and women, right? Our lives become busy, hectic, right? So being able to get away a weekend where you don't have to worry about no work, and you can like focus and have fun and just experience something, like you almost can create your own experience with what they created for you, by costume, gun, how you act, how you move. Like the rules are a little bit, more broad, a little bit, or not broad, but like it's not as like you get shot, you're out, right? You get hit a couple times, it's more lenient. So like getting away from like life,
the stress. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like just like I'm thinking of like, cause I'm a father, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking of like my children, right? I'm dad, right? And then I have my life where I'm like me, a man, right?
Right.
And like being able to cut away from like the work of my life and being able to experience something for that short, sweet moment, like shooting a gun.
Just a distraction.
Just a distraction. Yeah.
No, I hope pretty soon I'm a father too. I just had my fourth baby. He's still a baby, and so that's consumed a lot of my time. But I want to go back and actually.
I want to try that. Yeah, I would like to.
Well, and so before I do all of that, so again, going back to the youth team, right? We all went out to play that Sunday Fun Day, and it was again to kind of go back and reconnect with the roots of what paintball is, right? Like how we play, why we play. Like it's fun, right? So the field that I went to, they do a scenario. They do a couple scenarios throughout the year. Like one of them's called Grinch in the Hood. And
Grinch in the Hood.
Grinch in the Hood. I've never been to any one of these scenario paintball games. Okay, like let me start by saying that I've never been to any one of them. The only one that I went to was the D-Day event, but again, I didn't get to play because I was working.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like I haven't been to that side of it, right? The participant. So I would like to, in the near future, once we kind of get a half a second to break, because right now we're focused on, we have a couple of tournaments coming up that we're focusing on preparing for, and once we get ready for those, I do want to take these kids and go do that scenario, and just camp out for the night, set up the tent, let them have fun, just let them enjoy the fun side of what paintball is.
Because this is still their first experience with paintball.
This is 100% their first experience with paintball. Yeah.
Even though like mine was the woods, but like they've invested some time.
Yeah.
But it's still their first experience.
And they basically hit the ground running, right?
Yeah.
Because they came to the summer camp. First time playing. And haven't let up from there. And that's why it was so important. This is the second time that we've gone as a team to do the Sunday Fun Day, where it was important for me to get the kids out of that mentality for like a brief second, and just not worrying about getting shot out, like not worrying about being the best, like
just playing,
And actually, my son, he told me the other day when I was dropping him off at school. I was like, so what are your thoughts? How are you enjoying it? Blah blah blah. We were just talking, just trying to connect with him, and he's like, actually, Dad, I like the scenario, like the woods ball a lot.
Like scenario,
like the woods ball. He was like, I like when we were out in the woods, right? And because him and his group, his teammates, they kind of all stuck together, right? And they all we were playing attack and defend on a castle, and so they were defending the castle, but they didn't have to stay in the castle. They were able to venture out. So what they did was they were offensive, but they were defensive by being offensive, right? Like they did defense, but so they went and got into the woods, and they were like, and he was like, Dad, we were out there moving like a unit, and we were, as soon as we'd see somebody, we'd wait, and we'd ambush them, and he said we got all the way to the other team's base, and then we just started getting sprayed, and I could tell that he was having a lot of, he enjoyed that, right? And
everything,
the whole aspect of it, right? And it was, and so that's what it's important is, the name of the podcast is Play Paintball Podcast, right? Ultimately, what I want is people to play paintball, period, right? Just play paintball. Whether it's tournament paintball, whether it's hyperball, speedball, scenario paintball, or you just want to get together with your buddies and splat, come out to splat and just try some slow version of speedball, right? Like the low impact version of it. We really want to do it to where it's casual, right? It's like you could go race go-karts, right? Or you can go race go-karts, right? There's people that race go-karts competitively, but you can go to right down the street,
$29.95.
Yeah, $30, and ride for 10 minutes and ride a little go-kart. It's pretty fast and you enjoy it, right? So same thing with paintball. I wanted to make it accessible for people to come out and just enjoy it, right? And be able to try it and shoot somebody.
Shoot somebody, yeah.
So we'll see how it all
plays out. They get that experience here, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's pretty much it, man. Those are your basic types of paintball. I mean, that's pretty much it, actually. Your rec ball, scenario ball, tournament ball, speedball and tournament ball. Tournaments you could go both.
Pennsylvania is what?
That's a scenario game. That's a scenario game, right? That's a scenario event.
Okay.
It's an event, and it's in the woods. Yeah, like it's in the woods.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about.
It's not speedball at all.
I want to say, I could be 100% wrong. I want to say it's 44 acres, but I think now that I'm mentioning it, I think it's like much more. They have tanks. They have tanks. They have commanders. They have bases. Well, yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
crazy.
And again, dude, I think HK Army did a video where they had a drone flying at the moment that like the doors went down on the U-boats, and like it just like, and you just see. I mean, think of the movie Braveheart, or like any one of those epic war movie, like battle medieval movies, right? The arrows are flying, and that's exactly what, dude. I got goosebumps, like just watching it, just standing there. I was like, oh, this is so cool, And people are running. Some of them are getting hit, some of them are not. They're diving, crawling, trying to get up to the front and take over the hill, just like it happened in D-Day. So that was a really, really cool event. And so I say all of that to say, ultimately I think it's just a matter of getting out there and trying it and being able to overcome the fear of getting shot. That's a big part of it. I think a lot of people, they're deterred by it because they're like, I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get shot.
Well, you got to play. You're going to get shot.
Yeah.
I don't want to say you're going to get shot. But
if you play long enough, yeah, I guess you can
that's
go
what
out there and
happens.
play one game and just hide the whole time and not get shot. And go, yeah, I play paintball. But
that's a part of
it.
That's the other side of it, right? That's the cause and effect of playing. But once you get over that, it's fun.
Yeah, I love it.
As long as you know, one thing for me, I would like to know, like you told me about, taking the speed down on your guns, right?
The velocity.
I didn't know you can do that.
Yeah.
So I know that. So now when I go to different places, I would like to know, hey, what are you shooting at? So I know if I do get hit, I know what it's going to feel like. I'm still straight, but I just want to mentally check in and be like, all right, what you working with?
It's gonna be a fun day today. Yeah, no, I got you.
Because man, you don't want it hurts, right?
Yeah.
But then again, those other places don't have vest, right?
Yeah, I mean, you most places are gonna carry, the safety equipment, right? The most important safety equipment, and honestly, if you're even thinking about continuing to play paintball regularly, I honestly, before you even buy a paintball gun, I would go invest your money in buying a decent mask.
For sure.
That to me is like the most
that
crucial part.
You can't play without that.
You can't. All right, so we had a little bit of a technical difficulty again. Thank you for bearing with us, and as we kind of sort all this out, we're still learning a little bit about the equipment side of all of this fun podcasting stuff, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it and still getting a lot of information out of it. Maybe I'm answering some questions that you might have had on your own mind if you're thinking about playing paintball, or if you've considered going out and just been a little bit intimidated about it. Just remember that ultimately you just want to get out there, play paintball, have a good time, and enjoy it to the best of your ability. If you have any questions, or if you've ever want to try paintball, Splat is one of the best places to do so. You can get a chance to play. You're going to have really good equipment. It's a nice, clean atmosphere, controlled environment where you're going to be able to really play,
And
hopefully have fun,
not get
hurt, and then be able to hit somebody, right, and actually get the satisfaction of shooting somebody. I'm not sure if we if this got cut off or not, but reskill, upskill on your Instagram, right?
Reskill, upskill your sports development and athletic training for young, aspiring individuals. Hit me up, reskill, upskill on Instagram.
On Instagram, so at reskill_upskill on Instagram. And then as far as Splat is concerned, you have Splat_Houston on Instagram, on Facebook, and then of course we have our website, splathouston.com. And then the Play Paintball podcast on YouTube. I'm assuming you're watching this, obviously, because you guys are watching the video. But don't forget to just hit the subscribe button, set up the alerts, so that way when we do drop more information or more videos for you guys, you can watch it.
Good.
Also we're going to be working on shooting some shorter informational videos, quick little tips and tricks that you guys can pick up on, watch really quickly. If you have questions, hopefully maybe those will start answering them. If you do have questions, throw them down there in the comments. Hit us up on Instagram. You can send messages on Instagram, whatever the case may be. If you have any fitness questions, don't forget to
please feel free, contact me.
Yeah, just shoot some messages.
Businessmen and women,
yeah,
young children, high school, doesn't matter. Hit me up if you have any questions.
And then a big shout out to another one of our sponsors, at Gangster Paintball on Instagram. These guys, AB's rocking the all black hoodie with the gangster, the beanie with the gangster logo on there. We always get the freshest gear from them. It's pretty good stuff, and you get to represent paintball wherever you go. So come by and check us out. We have a store, a little storefront here at Splat, where you can get some of their gear. You can also check them out online at gangsterpb.com, or on Instagram. It's at Gangster Paintball on Instagram. Check them out, and they've got deals and all sorts of good stuff. They're actually NXL is going on this week. We didn't really talk about that earlier. So we
didn't mention that.
We did not mention that. So the NXL is going on this week. It's in Florida. It's the first event of the 2023 season. So you have all levels of players going on right now.
Gangster's going down?
No, Gangster Paintball is going to be at the event.
Yeah.
So if you're at the event, go by their booth, check it out. They've got all their new stuff is out in their booth. It's always the best place to check out their newest merchandise is right on at the events. They always debut it at the events, and then they'll put it out on Instagram and on all the stores and all the little storefronts that they have. The NXL Sunshine State Major is going on right now in Kissimmee, Florida. So we'll see who comes out. Dynasty's been on a roll these past couple of events, and maybe they keep that ball rolling.
Who else is?
Oh, you have everybody.
Okay.
So you have Dynasty, you have Houston Heat, you have AC Diesel, actually, team out of Dallas. They picked up a bunch of players during the off season. They recruited some really good players and put together a pretty serious squad. And so we'll see what they're talking about. Today's Thursday. First day of practices is going on right now, and then tomorrow will be the event. Tomorrow we'll start the first round of the prelims. So we'll see how it all plays out, and we'll see who comes out as the champion on Sunday.
Elimination is one game?
It's like round robin, and you kind of go through the bracket. But then, ultimately you want to get to Sunday, you want to make it through the prelims, get into the quarterfinals and the semifinals. It's like a regular tournament. And then Sunday we'll crown a new victor of the Sunshine State Major. So we'll see how that all plays out. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on social media. And till next time, play paintball, and we'll see you later.
Peace.